Let's see, Eric. Last week, when we finished up our session, we were just getting ready to discuss how Paula and I met when our time ran out. So the way I
Paul,
figured what
before
we should do...
get back into that, I would like to ask you a few questions, please.
No, go right ahead.
Well, I'm looking at my notes here. I see that you said you still loved Paula, and that you did not want the marriage to end, and that you had more or less bribed her to come to these sessions. So do you really think there's something salvageable here?
Eric, my friend, if I didn't think this marriage was worth fighting for, I wouldn't be sitting here.
Okay. So what attracted you to Paula in the first place?
There was so much, but for the sake of time, I'll be brief. First of all, the woman was fabulous. The moment I saw her, I knew she was the woman for me. No, really. You see, all those years of me jumping from one woman to the other, I had finally met the person who had truly touched me. How's that old saying go that in life there's always someone who's special for you? Paula was mine. All those years of me jumping from one woman to the other, and I had finally met the woman who could touch me to the core. No, it sounds corny, but it's true. Oh, I know Paula can come off hard and tough at times, but underneath it all, there is a very gentle, soft woman. The girl's a survivor, and I like that in her. She's had it tough because guys only look at the exterior and ignore the fact that Paula can be very caring when she wants to be. Plus, she's positively brilliant. Paula represented a challenge for me in the sense that I truly wanted to get to know her and not merely get her in the sack, if you know what I mean.
So when did you first meet her?
I'll tell you exactly when. It was on a Monday, just over 3 years ago. I was doing this dog and pony show for the new hires at the office, and Paula sauntered. No, she didn't saunter. She made an entrance. And she just didn't come in the room and sit in the back and pretend that she's sorry that she was late. She came right up front and sat. I was putting on a performance because, quite frankly, I love being in front of an audience, and I was playing to Paula. The upshot is, I knew we were going to get together. But it was great for me, but it seemed to turn to crap for her pretty quickly. Perhaps I rushed things.
What do you mean that you rushed things?
Oh, that old habit I had that I would come on to women too quickly. You see, Eric, I'm the kind of guy that when I see something I want, anything, I go for it, and I go for it hard. But in Paula's case, maybe I came on too quickly. Or maybe I should have let more time elapse before showing her my true feelings. Right. I'm sorry, where were we?
Well, you were describing when you first met Paula.
Yes. Oh. Well, my associates and I had just finished up this show, and I was determined to grab Paula's attention. But before I could get there, this newbie came up and grabbed me and began to talk, and like I had to give a rat's ass what she was chattering about. All the while, one of my dreams was getting away. By the time I got free, Paula was long gone. I remember thinking, damn, she didn't notice me noticing her. And that depressed me a little bit.
You know, Paul, I'd like to take a different tack here. I asked her about her cross-cultural relationships.
I don't understand.
Interracial relationships.
Ah, and?
Well, I'd like to ask you the same question.
If your question is, do I have any hang-ups about dating someone outside my race? If that's the question, no, none. I have crossed that so-called color line on numerous occasions. You see, Eric, I truly try to view people as people and not pigeonhole them like some folks do. As far as women, if I see a woman who's attractive and I'm attracted to her, I have no problem approaching her. Her color, her race, her background matters little to me. And I can say without reservation, Paula feels the same.
So you two have discussed this?
How could we not have? Please. So you can just scratch that little item off any list you have?
Honestly, I don't have any list. I was merely trying to understand why Miss Devlin would take a certain...
When you refer to her as Paula, not Miss Devlin. That really gets on my nerve.
Well, that'd make you feel more comfortable.
It has nothing to do with being comfortable. It's just... At any rate, would you please continue about Paula and the racial issue?
Well, I wouldn't call it a race or racial issue. I'm merely looking for reasons. I thought that perhaps because this is an interracial relationship, those kind of problems may have been a factor.
Hardly. Trust me. So can we move on and get back to the real issue, which is how...
Your first encounter with Paula.
It was a few days later, and I was walking down the corridor at work, and it was as if fate had conspired to make all this happen, because coming my way was Paula. And before I could even stop to think, I stopped her and I said, oh my God, I said something really lame, like, excuse me, but aren't you one of the new hires? You know, like pretending that I didn't know who she was and all. As I'm going over this now and thinking back at it, I've got to admit that it was pretty stupid. But here's the good thing. I reached out and I took her hand, and she didn't pull it away. And I remember thinking, we're having a connection. And we held this for several seconds, and it was really nice. And then she glanced at her watch and noticed that she was late for some kind of meeting, and she had to go. And so I repeated to her, hey, listen, you know, come by my office and let's discuss your future. And my office is right over there. She nodded, and then she turned and she walked back the way she walked, and I turned and went the other way. And man, I kicked myself because I really believed she wanted me to walk with her. And I remember thinking, damn, I blew it. But that was one of my problems.
What is one of your problems?
Was one of my problems, and that was thinking of doing something when I didn't do it. I guess you psychs call it the hindsight is 20/20 syndrome. The upshot is that I went back to my office and I called a friend of mine, and I told him that I had met the woman of my life. And that shocked me. But I really, really believed that we were going to get together. And a few days later, I knew I was right.